Hey viewers, this is my video for my Star Wars Project Part 2. There's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to try to be as quick as possible with it. But if you haven't seen Part 1, I highly recommend it, or my first video about it. So yeah, I'm going to be going through all of these folders and all the information. Dang it, what on earth did I do? I'm going to be going through all of these, starting with this Excel document. There are specific languages here, links for how the rules work, and then specific things here. And the most important thing is that the Sith Old Tongue has this rule of switching around the verb, subject, object. So instead of saying I eat food, it would be eat I food, and stuff like that. The next thing is planets to locations. This one goes through the planets that I was originally going to do, which is here with the links being here, including this link here. And then I updated it to being this, which are the planets that I'm doing right now: Coruscant, Mandalore, Lothal, Batu, Naboo, Tatooine, Ahch-To, Jedi Tech Scrolls, Velmor, Pelagon, Nal Hutta, Christophsis, Malachor, Nemoidia, and World Between Worlds. Nemoidia and Pelagon I decided not to do. Instead, this one is Raxus Secundus, and Pelagon instead is just the Tapani sector. And then I have descriptions of what they look like, and if they're in live action or not, and then if I should have real life inspired locations. And then these are links of the sources I used. I only use the links that are in gray, and these links right here, which I'll scroll through this really long link if you really want to see it. And then all of these links are just a bunch of comics that I ended up not using, which go pretty long. And then, oh crap, excuse me. And then I have here lists of planets, like listing planets and then choosing which ones to do. Outer Rim, Sith planets, and Separatist planets. You could just look at this here if you want to. But I just have it here for proof that I did it, because I'm very serious about this project and I don't want it to seem like I'm just throwing stuff together and just saying it's it. There's reasoning behind what I'm doing. Then this next one, sheet 1. This is my old list of things, which you can see from my part 1 video. But then I added this, which is like if things should be with or without a photo, specified, yada yada. I changed the formatting so this whole section doesn't matter, but this one over here does matter. Oh crap. This entire thing right here does matter, because what I'm saying is for planets and languages and alphabets, if the text would be vertical, rotated, or both, or whatever, and then fonts that have specific characters that are needed. Here are the characters that I need: ampersand, period, colon, comma, and slash. So green means that the font has all of them, but if it's white, that means that I typed all the characters that I do have. And if I didn't type a character, that means I don't have it. So like instead of doing a slash, I do a period. Instead of doing a comma, I just elaborate. Easier said than done. Instead of a colon, I do either a period or I don't have it. Instead of a period, I just don't have it. Instead of ampersand, I write out and, which is everything there. And then in this sheet, which is called updated, it's my updated list of, oh crap, it's my updated list of all these planets and stuff, which I'll get into later. And then there's this, which I did in another note, so you'll see that later. And then this, which is how I would format the location of Earth exactly on what I'll be using it for. And then this is my vault, which I will not be showing here, but later on, with more videos that I'll be doing, I'll be showing this part off. But updated, these are my finalized lists. So it starts with planets, languages, alphabets, calendar, year, yada yada. I didn't change anything here. It's mainly planets that I changed. So I decided to stick with Eartha, which is Earth, and then do 2 Coruscants, Mandalore, Lothal, Malachor, Batu, and I actually forgot to change this, so let me just do this. and then strike through. Because I'll only be doing one Naboo, and then Christophsis, Raxus Secundus, or just Raxus, Imperial Star Destroyer Walls, Och 2, Sacred Jedi Text, Velmor, Pelagon, and Nal Hutta. And then more, I also have Tatooine. And then I have everything here. This is just an Outer Rim planet, so it's that same concept. And that's all for that. If you're confused by anything here, please watch the first video. I explain it all there. But it's pretty much calendars in years, and then the languages, and alphabet from that language. I also did a bunch of other things, like I decided for Batu to just have Aurebesh AF. That's something that I changed. And I think that's all that I changed. But that's all for the Excel sheet. So I exit that out. Now I'll be going over Star Wars font key, which is fairly simple to understand. This is the key for all of the letters of the font. So I'll be scrolling through this, and if you want to see it, feel free. It's a more organized system than the one that I have from the first part. So there's that, and then there's key 2, which is bigger, but it has English next to it. But it's the same exact concept, and then if it's yellow, that means I don't have it. And it goes through all the special characters that you can type on a keyboard. Like ampersand, some of them have, but some of them don't, like that. So that's the key. Now I'm going to go over questions to answer, which while I was working on my project, I kept on asking myself a bunch of questions that I wanted to see if I even needed to do things. So I wrote the answers as well. Question 1, does Naboo use a different Aurebesh? I said probably, but because I can't find any examples of it, like in movies or TV shows, we are doing one Naboo, that is Futhork. Number 2, does the Trade Federation use a different Aurebesh? Yes, that one episode of Acolyte. It was like the first episode of Star Wars The Acolyte, and it shows the Trade Federation, and they have their own specific Aurebesh. So yes. Number 3, does Droidebesh really get used enough to make it worth it to do? I said no, but Batu will be regular Aurebesh. So Droidebesh is from one droid depot in Batu, so I decided not to do it. And then number 4, should I scrap Droidebesh, ergo Batu, ergo the whole thing? I said scrap Droidebesh, but keep Batu. That's why we're still doing the planet. And then Vault, I'm not going to go through. I'm going to go through instead all of these planets, and then I'm going to go through these top ones. So, Imperial. These are pretty much, I don't know what that is from. I think it's supposed to be a photo, but these are photos that I saved to inspire myself for different planets or locations. So I'll just stay going through these if you want to see them, save them, whatever the case might be. And then I'll be doing this for all the planets. So now is more of a looking time. And these are just photos that I saved off the web. But the photos that I used, I took screenshots specifically from TV shows. This is Korriban. We just went through Raxus. And then World Between Worlds, which I have none. Nemoidia, I have none. Malachor, I have none. Christophsis, I have none. Planet Nal Hutta. Planet Pelagon, which there weren't great photos of it. I had no way to prove some of the photos. So yeah, Planet Velmor, which really had no photos. It was really just that one photo. And then Jedi Text Scrolls, Och 2, Planet Tatooine, Planet Naboo, This one's good. I got this from a Clone Wars episode. Well, I saved this photo from the online, but I got a photo just like that I'm using, that I took the screenshot from Clone Wars. Batuu is empty. Planet Lothal. Completely forgot it snows on Lothal. Planet Mandalore. And then Planet Coruscant, which I made sure to save at like max out to 10, but if I couldn't find more, then it's fine. So yeah. And now it's these ones, which are pretty big ones. Template formation. This is a vault one, which I'm going to be saving to show later. So I saved these. My plan is to have sort of a photo for each planet, and to outline it, I decided to have sort of a ripped sandpaper texture. So I saved those photos for it. Okay, so now there's info from part 1, which is just a copy and paste from the last one, so there's no need to look at that. If you want to check it out, go to the first video. So language images, planet images, and shows. I'm going to go through shows because it's a bunch of text files. Let's start with this one first. This is my list of shows to watch where it has specific planets like Batuu, Naboo, and then down lower, Confederacy of the Independent Systems, Nal Hutta, and then languages, which is Mandoa, Basic, Urkitat, Futhork, Outer Rim Basic, Ancient Jedi Texts. And then we have this other one, which I created a second one that's copy and paste but updated. So I'll be going down here. It will look sort of exactly the same, except I deleted a bunch of them that I already finished. Like here I did all but one show, Star Wars Resistance. And then we have this here, which is specifically only Aurebesh. So there's the Clone Wars, Tales of the Jedi, where is it? Oh yeah, you should, if they're out here like Rampage, that means I watched it, but if they're down here, that means it has it, but I haven't watched it. And for reference, I have seen all of this already. And then Mandalorian. And this is all from one language, which is Aurebesh. And then there's movies, which is different planets, like Tatooine, and then what movie they're in. And if I watched it, it would be out. But I actually never done anything with this one. And then I marked here which ones I need to watch for language. And yeah, basic is in pretty much all of them, which is Aurebesh. But the ones that were more unique are these ones that I needed to see. And then other animated shows, which includes The Bad Batch, Resistance, and Tales of the Jedi, which are all here. Ones that I've watched are here. Ones I didn't, which is mostly Resistance, here. And then Planets Focus on I'm going to get to later. Live action shows is The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Andor, and Skeleton Crew. Rebels is Rebels. When they're out, that means I watched them. So, boom. And then the Clone Wars is the Clone Wars. When they're out, that means I watched them. And then finally, or I'll get to this one later, because all of them that I showed go to this folder, language images, which these are different days where I took photos of specific languages and the use there. So November 28th and 29th, I found this Mandoa Old Tongue, which is, like I said, it's going to be a lot of photos I'm going to go through. Boom. And then Outer Rim Basic, which is really just one. Then Protobush, which I think this is in Star Wars Andor. It's that right there. And then there's these other two photos, which are photos that I took there. Because I think that's Mandoa, but I am not too sure. And then there's December 3rd, which is the Clone Wars. These are ones where I couldn't tell what language it is or if there's even one at all. And then there's Orbesh here, which it's going to be a lot of photos, so bear with me. But yeah, these are all Orbesh in the Clone Wars. And I didn't watch specifically episodes that had Orbesh. I watched episodes that had other languages, but those episodes tended to have Orbesh as well. So there, and then after Orbesh, there's Mandoa, which was mostly on Mandalore. Also, all of these images I posted on my Instagram if you want to check those out. I narrowed them down usually to 20, which is why some say best and whatnot. And then I posted them on Instagram. So, and I posted them when I worked on them. So, if you want to get more live updates on my progress, Instagram or even my YouTube shorts are good ones to go to. So this was December 3rd. Then there's December 6th and 8th, which is Star Wars Rebels. I started mainly with these bigger shows like Clone Wars Rebels, and then The Bad Batch and Tales. And then I moved on from there to lower levels, like more the live action ones. And then if I needed it, then the movies. But I mainly watch the movies for planets, for photos for planets. I don't think I specifically watched a movie for languages, except for Sacred Jedi Text, because that's only in episode 8 and 9, really. I don't know any other instance when they were. Yeah, these are a lot of photos, but that's why I wanted to go quick. And yeah, I showed you the list of planets or list of episodes. So if you want to watch these, feel free to. But if you want to see the screenshots I specifically took, these are them. Orbesh is usually the one with the most. And keep in mind still, I watched episodes specifically that had other languages, not Orbesh, but I still found a lot of Orbesh, which gets you thinking, how many episodes of Orbesh are there really? And there's a lot. Like, pretty much every single episode. It would take me to rewatch the whole entire show. And then Mandoa, which are those? Outer and Basic. After Outer and Basic, there's Other, which is Other and Other Language. Which I don't need to worry about them loading really, because these don't have languages in them. They're just mostly landscapes. And planets, in case I needed some good examples for what I wanted to go for. But they're still pretty good. And then there's Other Lang, which is other languages that I think I saw. Which mainly was this language, which I believe is a native language of Lothal, until it became more mainstream to use Orbesh, which is why I'm doing Orbesh. So that was on December 6th and 8th. This one is The Bad Batch and Tales of the Jedi. These are Other, which is like other screenshots that I took. that didn't have any specific languages. I only saved one photo for the armor because I knew there were going to be a lot, and yep, 56 Orbesh. Orbesh in every single one of these photos. A whole lot of Orbesh. And there was only really one screenshot that I got from Tales of the Jedi, and it was only Orbesh, so there was nothing to worry about that. And these ones I can easily point out. This one's right there, and this one is over in this corner. That's Outer Rim Basic, and then there's other languages which are mostly unknown, like, if it loads, this language in the Bad Batch Barracks, this language here, and that there, that there, that there, and then these. I think this is Ryloth. I'm not too sure. And then when it says post, that means that I posted them on Instagram. Then there's December 23rd, 24, which is Mandalorian, the Mandalorian TV show, which 132 is crazy. I'm gonna just scroll through these. You could see the small images here, but you can get a general idea. And maybe I'll show you the ones that I posted, because that is more reasonable. But there's Orabesh, and then there's Futhork, which I believe is less. There's only 8 photos. And it was really in The Mandalorian's N1 Naboo Starfighter, because, well, it's from Naboo, so that makes sense. And there's Mandoa, which I'll just zoom in and just let you guys get a look at it. It's mostly like chain codes and from Mandalorian ships. And then Mixed Graffiti, which is that one episode where there was a graffiti. It was season 2, episode 1, chapter 9. And then Outer Rim Basic, which I believe was on Tatooine in an end credit scene. It's this arch. And then there's the Old Tongue, which was mainly from this one planet that Baby Yoda Grogu went on. The ball has Outer Rim Basic, and Jabba's chair has Outer Rim, or not Outer Rim, but the Old Tongue. And then other includes just these other screenshots. And then post is just these. Nothing really too much to say about that. December 25, 26 is the Book of Boba Fett. Orbesh includes, I'll go through Orbesh for here. This is not too much. It's just Tatooine speeder bikes. This is what got me to maybe use Orabesh for Tatooine, because it seems most common on that planet, even though it's in the Outer Rim. You know what I mean? And then Futhork was just the N1 Naboo Starfighter like dish thing. And then the Old Tongue was the Jabba's palace chair. And then other just included all these images of a bunch of other things that weren't languages or identifiable languages. Then there was Obi-Wan, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which was mostly Orbesh and other. Orbesh, 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 boom. And then after that, there's other, which are these 2 screenshots. This one here, and that one here. This is just a screenshot I took, no language in it. And then after Obi-Wan, then it was Ahsoka, which there's Orabesh, and it's on Prison Guard of the New Republic, or prison, prisoner, and then a ship, and then the Old Tongue, which was on the new planet of, I forgot what planet it is, but that's the Old Tongue. And then other languages, which I don't know of, but they were there, so I showed it. Boom. And then after that, there's other, which are just those. Then December 29th, I did Star Wars Andor. I got a lot of photos of Aurebesh, so I'll just scroll through them here. I highly recommend checking out my Instagram. And then Futhork was really interesting. I never noticed it the first time watching, but there's Futhork right there. It's really cool. And then other language, which is just unknown languages or different fonts of Aurebesh or whatever the case might be. I say different fonts of Aurebesh, but there's no way of really proving that. I just mean it looks like Aurebesh, but a little different. And then others, just all these, which if you want to look at them, zoom in. And then finally, Skeleton Crew, which there's little Aurebesh and little of any other language. It's really on Aden, and I forgot what planet that's called, but that planet. And then the Old Tongue, which is on one planet, just old carvings. It's really interesting to see. Other has nothing but other language has load that um that all that, and then post is just what I posted of those photos. And then planet screenshots is screenshots of planets. It's just photos that I had here that I showed already, but I just copy and pasted them and concise them all there. And then planets of language is the different days, different language, and what planet they're on. So if you want to take a gander at these, feel free to. And then go back in the video if you want to look at the photo, whatever the case might be. I say planets, but it's mostly just locations. Oh yeah, Lanupa is that planet. And then after that, there's after language images, then there's planet images, which I'll go through this first. This is what I want for the photo, which is the best landscape of the location I can do, a wide view while also vertical, and try to go for animated. Worlds Between Worlds, I will create freestyle based off of other photos, probably from Star Wars Rebels. So there's two different days when I did this. 1.2.26 and 12.31.25 and 1.1.26. And then these are photos from that's not from shows, but I saved for other ones. So then there's Coruscant, Lothal, Mandalore, Naboo. Oh yeah, wait, this is the second one. The first one's here, which is let's do this. Let's do this. Ahch-To, Batuu, Christophsis, Malachor, Naboo, Nal Hutta, Sacred Jedi Text, World Between Worlds, and all of them, and then my top 5. There are a lot of photos here, so I'm going to go through the top 5, which is 5 from every single location. So, yeah, there's Ahch-To, 3, 4, 5. Batuu, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is from Young Jedi Adventures, by the way. Then there's Christophsis from the Clone Wars. And then Malachor from Star Wars Rebels. Naboo from Tales of the Jedi from the Clone Wars. And then Nal Hutta from the Clone Wars. Sacred Jedi Text from Episode 8 and 9. World Between Worlds from Rebels. And yeah. Also, for specific photos, if I were to crop, let's say, this one, and the area that I cropped included these spaceships, I would manually edit these out. I don't like AI, so I'll do it myself, also because it's fun to do it. But that's my plan for that. And then the top 5 here, there's Coruscant from Ahsoka, Coruscant from Acolyte, that's still Acolyte, Coruscant from The Mandalorian, and then that's Coruscant from, I don't remember actually. I think it's from, oh no, it's from The Mandalorian as well. And then Lothal from, you guessed it, Star Wars Rebels. And then Mandalore, wait, yeah, this is Lothal. This is Mandalore from the Clone Wars. And then Naboo from the Clone Wars. And then Raxus Secundus from Tales of the Jedi. And also the Clone Wars. And then Tatooine. This one's from the Biome movie, Star Wars Biome. And then there's this one from Rebels. And that one from Rebels. And that's all there. So then from all those photos, I went to final screenshots, which is me narrowing them all down to one. So then it's Och 2 from episode 8, Coruscant 1 from, this one's from The Acolyte, Coruscant 2 from The Mandalorian, I believe, 2 from The Young Jedi Adventures, Lothal from Rebels, Christophsis from The Clone Wars, Mandalore from The Clone Wars, Malachor from Rebels, Naboo from The Clone Wars, Naboo from The Clone Wars, and I ended up removing this one, so it's really just this one. Rexus Secundus from Tales of the Jedi, Nal Hutta from Rebels, Tatooine from this one is from Star Wars Biomes, and then this is a saved photo I have of an Imperial facility, and then saved photo for Jedi text. That's just an old weathered photo, and then this is the photo that I got for Velmore. This is a photo of a planet from the Old Republic, which I don't think is Velmore, but matches the same description as the planet Velmore. And then there's this, which I don't know what these planets are, but it reminds me so much of the Tapani sector, with that looking like Fondor and this being another planet, so I used this photo as well. And then this is for the World Between Worlds, it's just a starry galaxy. And then after final screenshots, then it's final SS cropped, which is my photos when cropped and or edited. So there's Och 2, Coruscant, Batu, Lothal, Christophsis, Mandalore, and then Mandalore when it's edited, I just removed the Mandalorians, which I think I did a good job. And then there's Malachor, and then Naboo. I'm not doing this one anymore. Naboo, and then Raxus, and then Nal Hutta, and then Imperial Facility, and then where's 15? Well, it's just weathered paper, and then stars, and then this, which is a simple design of a world between worlds with a little portal right there with symbolic meaning. Oh, yeah, this is the paper. I don't know why it didn't show up, but that's it right there. And then final is the photos after scaling them up to a big proportion. So I'll just go through them so you can see them. And boom. That's that. And then I think that's all. This whole entire thing led up to these 17 images. And yeah, my plan now is I need to make every single template of what I'm working on, which really this project might end in 2030. Not saying it's going to take that long, but it will have to be that long. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been a good project. And by the time I do release more, I'll have this. I'll be showing this. Maybe not part 3, but by the time I get to it, I'll be showing this here. And then the other vault thing and everything else. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for shorts where I will give small updates. Check out my Instagram if you want to, AdamMarshallYT, and I'll see you guys by the next time I do another update. So see you later.